boxers, trainers, fight fans, promoters, and maybe, I don't know, casuals. This is the No Decision Podcast. I'm Wes Ibarra. He's Joy Villapando. We're going to play fast and loose. We're going to play free. We're going to go full on, I don't know how you want to call it. We're going to go ball family on this shit. We're just going to go play free. And tonight we're going to talk about the big fight in August with the two big men from England. A true or false? The difference between quitting or protecting, and who has impressed us so far in 2021. We're going to take a quick time out when we come back. We're going to talk about Fury versus AJ in August. Welcome back to the No Decision Podcast. We're going to now talk about the Fury versus AJ fight. Team Fury says it's August 14th. Team AJ says it's either the 7th or the 14th. All we know is that it's in Saudi Arabia. So, Joy, are they capping or are they not capping? Because I don't know who to believe at this point. But then again, in this day and age of sports, everything becomes so uh, objective to where it's kind of like, you know what? Maybe I should just let things fall the way they did. Or chances are, we're gonna end up dragging this out quite a long time. But I think they're capping. I
Oh,
really think they are.
okay. For me, yeah, I'm with that strategy of just letting things fall where they may. I guess a couple of weeks ago, Aram was saying the fight's not happening, and then Hearn saying, it is happening. I think we made some progress. At least they know they have two dates in mind, and they know that it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. I feel like it's too big a fight not to make. And Bob Arum is more of the camp where he'd rather make money than not make money at this point. And so yeah, I think they're not capping, but but I do think we've made major progress in the talks.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, because if we need this, I think this is the fight that saves boxing. To be honest with you, like, yeah, no disrespect to Canelo Alvarez or
Right.
Naoya Inoue or Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Bud Crawford, but this is the fight that I think keeps boxing relevant. Because I'm gonna be honest with all of you, especially you, Joy. It's hard to talk boxing with just about any sports fan these days.
Yeah.
Because when you want to talk about a combat sport with somebody, guess who they bring up? They bring up UFC.
Right. Yeah. No.
They don't bring
Absolutely.
up boxing, and then when they bring up boxing, they only know one guy, and that one guy is Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's difficult. Or Ryan Garcia because of the social media
Yeah.
aspect of it all. But it's difficult. But I think this is going to be the fight where people could at least, even if it's just for that one day, pay attention to what boxing is and how special it is, and what big magnitude fights, in this case the heavyweight championship, is all about.
No. Yeah. I absolutely agree. With you, and I don't think. Yeah. I don't think. Unfortunately, there is not a massive or a big name that can go up against Canelo that would draw in the big money. I do think that the biggest money that you could probably draw is Fury Joshua at the very moment. Because yeah, their names are just big. I don't know if Errol Spence versus Crawford, if it ever happens, I don't know if that's gonna draw as much crowd as Fury Joshua. But yeah, I think you're right. This is probably the fight that could bring boxing back into the map.
Absolutely. And I guess now that I think about it, uh another argument that maybe those that are with us in the fansmanship, if you will, of boxing will say is that, oh well, Manny Pacquiao is technically still active. Yeah, well, yeah, we all know who Manny Pacquiao is, but we don't know who the guy is on the other corner.
Right? Yeah. No. Absolutely. Uh, and yeah, and they're still kind of bidding on who his next fight should be. But at this point, I think there's no more talks between Errol Spence or Terrence Bud, so it's more likely. I think it looks like he wants to fight either one of them or one of either Mikey Garcia or any of the other welterweights in the division. But we just don't even know. We don't have a date set.
I don't know, man. It's rough. It's rough, but hey, we still are sticking around. There might be a winner and a loser, but there's always going to be someone that's undefeated, and that's us, the fans.
Yeah.
Us proud boxing fans, god damn it. But hey, AJ Fury in August, sometime in August,
Sometime.
in Saudi Arabia. Well, that's our first round. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to play a quick game of true or false. Like I said, we're playing. This is the No Decision podcast. We are now going to play a quick game of true or false. All right, first one, Joy. True or false? Fury finishes AJ in 3 or less, as he says he would.
False.
I say false, you stupid bag of donuts. You're not the stupid bag of donuts, Joy.
Okay.
Just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's the problem I really have with Tyson going into this fight. He thinks AJ's an idiot, in which he's not.
Yeah.
And AJ is too strong and too athletic to just go down in 3.
Yeah.
I actually see this fight going the distance.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Unless AJ can do what Deontay Wilder couldn't, if please correct me if I'm wrong, Joy, or if the Tyson all of a sudden becomes Vitaly Klitschko, or was it Vladimir that he fought?
I think it was Vladimir. I believe it was Vladimir.
Where it's like they trade knockdowns and one of them just really blew up. In this case, it was Klitschko because AJ caught him.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's gonna go down, and I don't think. I mean, I do think Fury beats AJ, but not because he's an idiot or anything. I just think that AJ is a perfect opponent for Fury. In my point of view, but I don't think he finishes him in 3 or less. I'm agreeing with you. I think it might be just a decision. AJ is one of those guys that are really hard to knock down or knock out. And so, I mean, Ruiz, he caught a lucky break. He had a hurt champion in front of him, and he took advantage of it. But I think the way Fury fights, he's a little bit more tactical, and so yeah. If anything, I don't think it's gonna be a knockout. I think it's just gonna be a pure decision.
Sure. All right. Next one. Mayweather fights both Paul Bros. I think that's true, man.
That's true. I think after what we've seen, I think that's true. It's true now.
What I'm just afraid for is that Floyd will just give them even more brain damage than they already do. And, just looking at things from a values and virtues and ethics standpoint, those two guys are somebody's sons. Yeah. So it's kind of like to have some guy that's like half their size beat their brains in.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit of sympathy there, but I don't feel sympathy for those two boys overall. And keyword, I said boys, not men.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Jake wants to, rattle the cages a little bit against Floyd. Now, there's only been 2 fights that Floyd has been sitting on his punches, that ever sat on his punches to really knock out someone. That's one. It's Conor McGregor, and the other one was Victor Ortiz. I think he's just gonna sit on his punches throughout the entire night. I don't think there's no need for him to kind of just do pull counters. I think he could just take the punches that these guys will probably give him. But yeah, I think he's gonna spank him. He's gonna teach him a boxing lesson.
Or something tells me he's gonna do what Ali did. I believe it was against. Please tell me it was against George Foreman that he did when he got stuck in the corner.
Yeah, the rope-a-dope.
And then just did the crazy eyes and just got one like.
Yeah. I believe that was George Foreman. I mean, Muhammad Ali.
Or when Caleb Plant did the same thing in the middle of the ring and pointed at someone in the crowd, say like, "Oh, you saw that?"
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I think yeah, it could be the case as well. Like he makes them look like clowns in the ring
Yeah,
first,
because
and
like
so
they
yeah,
they they throw wide, right?
they do. Yeah,
You and me both agree to that. And it's like I think Floyd wants to put on a full display where he's dancing and then he's sitting.
I actually want to get into a bet that is it Logan? Yeah, Logan is not gonna in one round. I don't know which one. Probably second or third round because probably Mayweather is gonna, take that first round to kind of just see to test out the waters.
Mm-hmm.
Probably second or third round. I think I'm willing to bet that Logan doesn't land any shots. He'll throw shots, but I don't think he lands any of them.
That's what I'm saying. So like he's gonna try and like swing for the fences, and then Floyd's just like I said, gonna do the Muhammad Ali,
Yeah,
or maybe like I said, just sit in a corner and try and let him tee off, but he's gonna
yeah,
either hit the corner or the ropes.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I hope he fights Jake at this point because I've seen the videos. He looks mad. He looks like he wants to fight Jake. But yeah, I'm excited for this fight for some reason.
Yeah, so am I, and it follows up the Teofimo and Cambosos fight. So looking forward to that. But yes, we're gonna be on record here saying that Floyd is gonna fight both Paul brothers and beat them both, and hopefully take them out of this game or not this game, this sport. Good
Yeah,
lord. All right, our last TF or F for this segment of the show. Billy Joe Saunders will be back. I think he will, but
I
he
think
won't
so.
be the same.
I agree. I think we also discussed this in the last podcast, right? Like, if Bill Joe Saunders does come back, I mean, for a lot of these middleweights, right? If they do come back, or if they plan to fight again, well, of course they're gonna plan to fight again. But who do they fight? Because at this moment, Canelo is going to. It seems possible that if he gets all the belts, then then a lot of these middleweights are just gonna be aiming for him, and he's already kind of beaten a lot of these middleweights. But I do think Billy Joe Saunders will be back. I've seen the X-rays that he's had to go through. They look pretty bad. I think he'll be
The
back.
guy's got screws all over his eyes, basically.
I know, yeah. And so yeah, I think it'll take him a while to get back, but hopefully when he does get back, he'll be healthy. There was a moment there where we thought he was gonna lose his eyesight or it was career threatening. So hopefully, that's not the case. He had his first surgery, and I think yeah. So I think he'll have many more, but yeah, I think he will be back. Hopefully, he'll be back.
For sure, for sure. And that ends round two. Let us know on your true or falses. But until then, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back. This is the No Decision Podcast. Welcome back to the No Decision Podcast. We're going to talk about I guess, debated topic in boxing now. We did talk about Billy Joe Saunders in the last round. He is going to be the focal point of this round. And I guess another good example would be Deontay Wilder. But we're going to talk about quitting or protecting. And I didn't really like what Teddy Atlas had to say about Billy Joe Saunders.
Hmm.
Something along the lines of like, oh, that's not how like a real boxer like acts or moves. I'm like, are you serious, Teddy Atlas? You mean to tell me that you've never had a fighter with a broken cheekbone or broken orbital bone? And you never thought once, and if you did, you never thought once to actually stop the fight because chances are, like, if they kept taking that punishment, they wouldn't be able to see out of that one eye. Come on, man. And don't get me wrong. I understand boxing is a warrior sport. And sometimes in bad context, it's a machismo sport. There's always a saying, we want to go out on our own shield. I
Right.
understand that. But at the same time, this is the hurt business. There are like like what Sylvester Stallone said in Rocky. There are things in me that ain't never been fixed.
Right.
And I mean, granted, Billy Joe Saunders, despite having all the resources in the world to get that cheekbone fixed, or Deontay Wilder, whatever injuries he sustained fighting Tyson Fury, like there's long lasting effects on that.
Right.
So for me, I think, especially now, given all the knowledge that we have with what the human body can take, like I think there really is no shame in calling a fight early
Oh no.
and protecting that fighter. It's not quitting, especially if it's a corner call. Like I really
Yeah.
don't think it's quitting because we're down bad on the scorecards and like we have no shot of winning. No, really. I don't understand it sometimes when people say, "Ah, oh, this guy quit" or "this girl quit." I was like, well,
Well,
you don't understand
yeah.
what the toll of this sport is then.
Well, yeah, and I completely agree with you, Wes. What is it called? Uh, when it usually comes from the corner, right? Your own team stops the fight. They're looking out for you, and they're usually I, I don't know. They're not usually right. They're the majority of the times they're gonna be correct because they see something that they haven't seen from you that you just probably reacted very badly to a punch, a combination after a round. They just probably, you got to trust your corner because, they could see, they're not in the ring, but they could see exactly what's happening. They could see the momentum shift or anything. And yeah, I don't think this was the fact of like quitting, or I think this is more protecting, right? Like, because look, I mean, if it was true, I do think it was true. I think if Billy Joe Saunders continued to fight, he probably would have been blind by the end of the fight. Probably throughout his entire career or his life, he probably would have lost his eyesight on that right. I believe, yeah, it's the right eye. And so yeah, it was a massive injury. You could see it from the images. One of his pretty much his right face is concaved. And so yeah, I think they did a really fine job of protecting Billy Joe Saunders because no fighter should go through that, right? Again, he has a family. He has family. He has kids that he has to go home to. No fight is worth you know kind of risking your livelihood. And boxing has come so far where there's been a lot of trainers recently, right? We were talking that poor kid from the Middle East who you know unfortunately lost his life in a boxing match. And you know it, trainers have seen a lot of things that we have never seen in the boxing ring, fortunately, but they know when to stop it and they know when it's enough.
Yeah, and yeah, I just never understood how fans or other trainers even or even analysts because you could even think that
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy quit or whatever,
Right.
or this girl quit because of whatever. It's like there comes a time where you got to protect that fighter.
Right.
And thankfully a lot of these pundits in boxing understand that,
Right.
but it's just a select few that say, oh no, like I just can't. For me, to those that believe that, yeah, that's quitting, like then you don't understand the sport. That means you really don't. You're either out of touch with it or you just straight up don't understand
Right.
and just happen to be a fan of it because people are getting hurt.
Right. I mean, to that, I tell to those fans or to those pundits, to anyone that says that's quitting, then you should look up tapes of boxers that pretty much were getting beaten up at the corner of the ring, because back then referees didn't stop the fight. They only stopped the fight until a part of your body touches the canvas instead of other than your feet. And you know that yeah, I think a great example is Mark Breland and Deontay Wilder, right? Deontay Wilder wanted to go out on his shield, as he said, but Mark Breland has seen casualties in the boxing ring, and he just didn't want that for Deontay Wilder, someone who he's trained from when Deontay was still, you know, getting himself up in the boxing scene. And so there's this kind of father son figure, and of course Mark Breland is going to step in to protect pretty much his son, right? And yeah,
I'll
and
tell that to Deontay because Deontay got rid of him not too long after.
exactly. You know, but Deontay, yeah, of course, right? And there are reports that Mark Breland was sobbing, after the fight outside of the locker room because he just didn't want that for Deontay. And like I said, yeah, like there's gonna be many times where it's an emotional feeling, right? When your corner steps in to stop the fight, it's definitely emotional. But I think it's I think it's the right thing. A lot of the times, it's the right thing to do.
Absolutely. And, I hope whoever's listening can have a different now, I guess, or bit, or at least at the most, a better understanding of why stoppages happen,
Hmm.
but if you want to double down, so be it. We don't care. Agree to disagree, but there is you got to just take into account that there is a toll that the human body can take.
Right. Right.
And in the case of Billy Joe Saunders and Deontay Wilder, and perhaps any other stoppage in modern boxing history, I think was a good call.
Right.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about who has impressed us so far in 2021. Stay right here. This is the No Decision Podcast. Fans, we are now in the home stretch of the No Decision Podcast. We're going to close up shop here with who has impressed us so far. And for me, that fighter is Joshua Buatsi out of England, the young gun from Matchroom. He actually scored a big knockout against Daniel Dos Santos in a showcase for Matchroom in Manchester, England. One shot power.
Hmm.
And of course, if the name sounds familiar, he was also one of the anchors for the Joshua Pulev fight.
Right.
And he's actually managed by Anthony Joshua, by the way. And yeah, you could tell that this guy is an up and comer in the light heavyweight division, and he's done some good work. He hasn't lost yet, and he has his best years ahead of him.
Right.
And as long as he has that support system in place, I think he can really, really become very big, kind of like his peers and Anthony Joshua and Lawrence Okoli. So British Olympians, British boxers, and hopefully future world champions, especially in the case of Joshua Buatsi.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty impressive. He's definitely getting up there. Man, he's gonna be fighting some big names soon. I feel, but where is he ranked?
Dimitri
Wes?
Bivol.
Yeah. So
Dimitri Bivol wants to fight Joshua Buatsi.
yeah. I mean, of course, right? Yeah, like you said. Also, he's promoted by Anthony Joshua, so I feel like that also puts a little bit of a target, right, behind his back. But so far, he's been impressing pretty well.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's top 10. I can't give you a solid answer. I haven't done my homework on that.
Okay.
But, I would, if it were me, I would put him in the top 10 in light heavyweights.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, right after no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was about to say I was like, no, yeah, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I was about to say Alexander. Yeah, but yeah, no. I kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, absolutely. Light heavyweight. I think we already said that it's one of those divisions where you could definitely shine because there's not a lot of big names coming out of it. Now he could go up to cruiser and we'll see where his ceiling is when it comes to his size. But I think he could pretty much fight heavyweight if he continues to just make waves. But yeah, it'll be interesting, right?
Absolutely. And, Matchroom has two, big guys after AJ that could fight in that division. And yeah, one of them is Joshua Buatsi, the
Right.
other one being Lawrence Okoli. And of course, like I said, they're all British Olympians.
Right.
They're all medalists. In the case of AJ and Okoli, they're world
Right.
champions. And then Buatsi's just right there. He's knocking on the door.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. And so I don't know what they're feeding these dudes over there at the UK, but keep it up.
Well, they also need to have an additive where they can actually score wins in America.
Oh. That's why
Sorry, Callum. Sorry, Cool Hand, and sorry, BJS.
that's why the AJ Fury is being held inside.
And to some extent, AJ. Yes, to some extent, AJ.
Yeah, absolutely. His first loss, Madison Square Garden, right? And so yeah,
Yes.
very interesting. But yeah, for me, I actually picked a guy that's quite obvious. That's been pretty top tier in everyone's list. But I think he just pretty much he just continues to amaze me. And not only that, he's pretty much challenging himself. Every single time he fights. But I'm taking Gervonta Davis, Tank, right? Super featherweight division. Yeah, he's just incredibly impressive, right? He's the IBF super featherweight title holder at the moment, I believe, and thinking about going to lightweight. I believe he's already in the lightweight division. He's already has the. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, my bad. I forgot, but the first fight I've ever seen him, he took the lightweight division title by knocking out Yuriorkis Gamboa. Now, of course, Yuriorkis Gamboa isn't the same fighter as he was a couple of years back, but still, I think he solidified himself by knocking out Leo Santa Cruz, which I think is no slouch. I actually like Leo Santa Cruz, but yeah, yeah. I mean, it looks like he's on the upward trajectory. Hopefully, he could stay in the ring. He's had some troubles off the ring, but I think he's an incredibly powerful guy. Probably one of the pound for pound most hardest hitters in the sport. But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see him light it up. I don't know whether he's gonna stay in lightweight division or the super featherweight. Um, but I've heard there's some rumors that he wants to go up to welter. So, I mean, hey, like I said, right? That's what impresses me the most is that he keeps challenging himself. He keeps kind of going up and down weights, much like Ricky Hatton was, which is never a good sign or kind of dangerous at that point. But
yeah, ask Roy Jones Jr.
I was about to say like Roy Jones is also, but yeah, just yeah, I'm really impressed with Gervonta.
Absolutely. And, Floyd said that he believes Gervonta Davis is the future of boxing.
Mm.
And, I would like to see him be more active because it seems like we only mention him by what he's already done rather than what he's capable of doing. Right. So, why can't he go ahead and try and fight someone like Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson,
right? I mean,
right. Or the Mikey Garcias of the world, or even the Terrence Crawford's, Errol Spence Jr.'s of the world.
I think that would be a good test if the rumors are true and he wanted to go to welterweight. Mikey Garcia might be a pretty good test for him at that weight class. And so yeah.
Should I even think Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko could give him problems too?
Oh no, absolutely. But like I said, that's what impresses me the most is that he's willing to challenge himself, and to pretty much get as big as he can. And so yeah, props to him.
Well, he does have a fight coming up now that I think about it, and I think it's in Atlanta. Yeah, so that's gonna be fun to watch, and I hope that he passes that test.
Absolutely.
Too. I don't know if it's going to be as anything like his fight with Santa Cruz, where he just straight up shut out the dude in basically a buzzer beater.
Yeah.
But damn, I could tell he's good. It's just a matter of him, getting that exposure that he needs.
Yeah.
Unless, despite him being very young, he's playing the Mayweather game
Yeah.
where he's just picking when the
Well,
time is right, like a stock market almost.
well, yeah, no, absolutely. I'm glad that you brought that up actually because yeah, he is fighting on the 26th with Mario Barrios, who's another undefeated fighter at super lightweight. So yeah, yeah, it'll be interesting. It seems as though we've had a couple of prospects fight each other recently. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Absolutely. So there you have it, folks. I have one of England's finest. Joy has Baltimore's finest. So Baltimore, stand up. And we have reached the end of our show tonight. That is all we got for you. Um, and we're closed. We're closed. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. But for what it's worth, we'll have a fresh set of rounds for you next week. But until then, I'm Wes Ibarra. He's Joy Villapando. Have a great night.